this is Andrew Divoff, the Wishmaster, and you are now entering Cinema Chop Shop. Enjoy your day.
The Cinema Chop Shop.
What's going on, everybody? It's David from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. While you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music, trailers for me to react to, so click that damn link. Now, with that being said, I did the top 5 best movies of 2023. So I want to go ahead and tell you guys about the worst damn movies of 2023. I'm going to give you guys my top 5, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these worst damn movies, shall we? I couldn't really think of a movie that I felt like deserved like an honorable mention, not yet at least. So we're just gonna go ahead and go into our top 5. So coming in at number 5, we have Scream 6, directed by Matt Open and Tyler Gillette. Now, we recently heard in the news that we had our main actresses exit from the Scream franchise. You had Billy's daughter, I forgot her name. She exited because she said something about the war, so she got canceled. Then you had Jenna Ortega leaving, and then now you have the director leaving. So Scream 6 or Scream 7, whatever it is, it's up in the air, it's dying. The next Scream movie is dead in the water. We don't know if we're going to get it at all, and honestly, I'm not mad about that. And the reason I'm not mad about that is because this Scream movie wasn't all that great. Here's the problem with Scream. The Scream movies have followed a specific rubric all the way through. It's a whodunit. You got to figure out who the hell did it, right? And ever since they came back and they started doing more films, and although the last film was a huge box office success, I don't feel like it represents how good the movie is, right? Because if we can't say that a movie's good because it did good in the box office, no, we can't do that. This movie was actually not well done at all. It follows the same format. It doesn't really offer you anything different. And on top of that, the big reveal at the end wasn't really that great. Sure, we have something a little bit different, but at the same time, you got to just ask yourself, dude, this is Scream. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting people to just keep consuming it in large quantities and asking for more. I mean, I personally, I've been done with it since they brought it back. I was like, okay, cool, you did something different. I didn't really like it. They came with this one, did it again. I wasn't really liking it either. I mean, although I love Ghostface in the movie because Ghostface was dope. He was a freaking menace. He was just out there gutting and stabbing and doing what he does. And it sucked because at the beginning of the movie, they introduced an idea that involved old boy. I think he's from Spider-Man 3. He's a dude that he would technically be Venom, right? Was it Flash Thompson? I think. Anyway, he is introduced in this Scream 7 movie or whatever. What's Scream 6 movie? He's introduced in this movie in such a way where I thought, like, damn, you know what? This would be a good way to go about the film. They kind of turned it on itself. And I was like, okay, this is something different. This is cool. And then what did they do? They pushed out and it went right back to the old school format, which to me is dry, is stale, and is done. So because of that, Scream 6 is in my number 5 for worst damn movie of 2023. Coming in at number 4, You People, directed by Kenyo Barris. Now, if you're sitting there asking yourself, what the hell is You People, right? You People, is it You People? Yeah, You People, right? This is a movie with Eddie Murphy and freaking the fat dude from damn, what's that movie? Superbad. Whatever his name. Hold on, what's his damn name? Jonah Hill. Thank you. Jonah Hill. Charlie Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill have a movie together, right? And Oh, and also Lauren London's in it. This movie is about this Jewish dude that's apparently just like he wants to start this hip hop podcast because he's so knowledgeable about the culture. Then he ends up dating a black girl, and then it was just this culture clash between him being accepted by this black Muslim type father, and then him being Jewish and his Jewish family accepting them, and it's just this super rom-com esque culture clash movie, but it was done so terribly that I'm wondering how much did Eddie Murphy get paid for this damn movie? Because Eddie Murphy sat in this movie and did the most stalest, most terrible performance I ever seen in my life. I think the only person that was in it that was even remotely funny was Mike Epps, and he was only in it for like 5 damn seconds. This was a terrible movie. It was terribly written. It's not funny. It doesn't make you feel any type of way. And I really just felt like I wasted my time. Jonah Hill, you suck, my friend. I have not seen a good Jonah Hill movie since Superbad. I don't know, dude. I don't understand his appeal. He's not funny. He just has this weird nature about himself. I think he should just go back to directing because mid 90s was a fun movie. I enjoyed mid 90s. Mid 90s was a very very good directorial debut from this dude, and I wish we would just see more from him versus trying to force your terrible acting on us. So yes, number 4 is You People. I believe it came on Netflix or something. Fucking terrible movie. Coming in at number 3, we have Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, Gerwig, whatever. Now, here's the problem with Barbie. I actually wanted to like that movie, right? Like, I mean, you hear so much hype. Why is this thing out of focus? All right, there we go. You hear so much hype about the Barbie movie. It made fucking butt tons of money. I think it crossed the billy, right? And the problem that I have with that movie is that it's too pushy. It's too pushy. Now, I get where they were going with it, right? You have Barbie, and obviously, only girls play with Barbie, so girls don't play with Ken. So Ken's going to feel exiled. You know what I'm saying? The Barbies are going to feel like they're superior. So then when Barbies leave their town, Barbie world, and they come to this world and they see that they're not superior, then there's a problem. The problem with the movie is that it presents the real world as this terribly misogynistic world where it's just like everybody's just misogynistic. Like Barbie literally comes into the world and then she gets like sexually harassed like 10 seconds into entering the world. And that shit ain't true. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we have these things where like the movie presents it as if there are no famous or women in power or anything like that. Like all the women are like on the bottom of somebody's thumb. And some of the most richest women, you have Rihanna, you have Beyonce, and you have freaking Kylie Jenner. And I mean, Kim Kardashian. I know. We're not talking about like those aren't great people to like name, but at the end of the day, they're making a shit ton of fucking money. They're some of the richest damn women in this world with multi-million dollar, and I mean, I think most of them women have hit 1 billion on whatever freaking financial ventures that they're doing. Right? These are very successful women. Our vice president is a woman. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop acting as if this is like a strictly only man's world and that women are not successful at all in this world because there's a lot of women out here that are very successful and they compete every day and they win every day. So the way that Barbie presents it is this world is just all out against women, and to me like that just rubbed me the wrong way. Also, I don't like movies that feel like they have to preach to you. I don't like movies that feel like they have to tell you the message in the movie. Barbie not only did that, but it did it repeatedly throughout the whole damn film. The whole film is just telling you about like how bad women are treated and you know how different it is from Barbie's world. And you're just like, dude, like, okay, I get it, you know? And not to mention when Ken comes to the world and supposedly he learns about the male dominated world and he ends up taking that shit back to Barbie's world, and then it just he creates this environment where is like, yeah, you need to sit back and like old school, like sit back and make me a sandwich type shit. And that's just not the world that we live in. It just wasn't really believable. This movie was based off of like, I don't know, like if this movie was in like the 60s or some shit, like supposedly Barbie came alive and she was in the 60s or something, then maybe we might be talking about it. Maybe might be a question. But I just can't buy that Barbie's in this year and this is the type of shit that she's dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just personally, I felt like they didn't have to do that, and they could have made a great fucking film without all of that. And I mean, even little comedy ass moments and shit like that. To me, it wasn't really funny. You got some musical numbers in the movie, nothing really too catchy to me. A lot of the times these movies have really good like catchy shit, and I didn't feel it with this movie. But I don't know. Barbie caught on to the hype train. A lot of people bought into it, but at the same time, I wasn't buying into it. I personally just didn't like it. I think it was super fucking. Not only was it disappointing, but it was just outright bad of a movie. So number three, Barbie. That's all you, homie. That was such a fucking waste of my time. Anyway, coming in at number dose, we have The Flash, right? The Flash was one of the most highly anticipated movies because you had Michael Keaton's Batman returning. You had the Flashpoint storyline, which is one of the most popular and most probably successful freaking storybook, comic book storylines out there, right? It's one of the most well-known, well-liked. It's loved all around the world, right? And it even had like a freaking animated version created, and that shit is loved, right? I saw that. The shit was fantastic. So I wondered to myself, how are we going to do this into the big screen? How are we going to translate that? Let's see what they do, right? And I'm not going to lie, Ezra Miller does a really good job as the Flash. He does a really good balancing act, and when it's time for him to mature, he matures. The problem was he's inconsistent. He matures one moment and then ends up digressing back to his immature state, and it's just stupid. The third act in the movie was fucking terrible. You have a villain randomly, spontaneously introduce itself out of nowhere. I felt like that was a letdown. And basically, essentially, Michael Keaton carries this fucking movie because outside of Michael Keaton, you don't really have much to work with. Supergirl, dumb as fuck, pointless to even put in this damn movie. I was annoyed by her sheer presence only because she lacks personality. She is not someone who feels threatening, and not, and it's just like her dialogue just sucked. I couldn't get into it. Like to me, this was one of the most disappointing movies ever. And then not to mention that this movie has some of the most horrible slow motion run scenes, and combined with some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life. This movie is a box office failure for good reasons because it fucking sucks. And Ezra Miller's a piece of shit. And I'm kind of glad that this movie did what it did in the box office because it shows that these movies fucking suck. And I believe that Aquaman's on the same course. Is going to bomb at the box office, hopefully, and it's going to show that this is the reason why DC does not succeed in cinema because they just don't know how to make fucking movies. It's like DC is equivalent to Sony with Marvel products. Like they just can't do it. Like the only reason that the Spider-Man movies are even remotely successful is because Spider-Man is a popular character. The Spider-Man movies, in no shape, form, or fashion, are good outside of Spider-Verse. That's the only thing I'm saying. Other than that, blunders. But let's get back to Flash. We have bad CGI. You have bad storytelling. You have horrible run scenes. You have I just at the end of the day, the movie just didn't live up to my expectations. All the Easter eggs fell flat, scrambled Easter eggs because they didn't mean shit. This movie was so far behind because look, remember that South Park episode where Butters' homie kept saying, Simpsons did it, right? This is what I felt like watching this movie the whole time. Marvel did it. Marvel did it the whole damn movie. You had to compete with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. You had to compete with Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever the hell it was. The one with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield or whatever. You had to compete with that, right? It's already done already. You trying to bring Michael Keaton is not going to benefit the people. You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to give a shit. The problem is that although Michael Keaton's character is badass, although Michael Keaton is a badass Batman, your problem is that I don't think people have showed their kids Michael Keaton's Batman and said, yo, this is fucking Batman. You know what I'm saying? People have shown their kids Tobey Maguire's Batman and said, these are some of the best Batman, Spider-Man, and said, these are some of the best fucking Spider-Man movies, right? People will show Spider-Man 2. This is one of the greatest fucking Spider-Man movies ever with one of the most greatest villains in it, right? And Andrew Garfield, not the greatest Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, people are, it was done in such an era where the kids might have seen it. Fast forward, that shit came out in the 80s. Batman came out in the 80s. Motherfuckers is not really telling the kids you need to watch this specific Batman movie because it got Michael Keaton in it. Sorry to tell you, it just ain't happening, right? Michael Keaton did an amazing job, couldn't carry the film, but Flash was a terrible fucking movie. And one of the worst superhero movies, in my opinion, at least the ones that I've seen. Because I mean, there are movies that I have not seen, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, things like that. I mean, Quantum Mania probably was up there, but I didn't want to make a long ass list of just superhero movies because I could trash superhero movies all day. But let's go ahead and get into the number one, the coup de grace, right? The worst movie of fucking 2023, and it has to do with family, right? The worst movie of 2023 has to be Fast X. This is one of the most fucking dumbest movies I've ever seen in my life. The problem with this movie is that it's going on too long. You have characters resurrecting out of nowhere. You have people that die and then don't really die. And nobody really dies in this franchise. It feels like everybody's related to the Undertaker because as soon as they die, for some reason they end up coming back like 3 chapters later. This movie, I get it. The Fast and the Furious franchise has made a lot of money. Like 2 of their films have crossed the $1 billion mark. I get it. I completely understand. You went to the world, you went to this whole spy route, and all of a sudden, like you guys start making hella money. Cool. I don't like it. I like the whole street racing scene and kind of like keeping it to some ground level crime shit. I like the more based Fast and the Furious films. But whatever. So because I can't imagine some motherfucker tuning up his charger, saving the world from freaking trained FBI agents with nothing more than a monkey wrench. It's the dumbest shit ever. I digress. You had Jason Momoa be the villain in this movie. Now, the introduction to Jason Momoa's character is even more fucking ridiculous because Jason Momoa's character is supposed to be this menacing ass dude that, like, was in what one of the movie that where they went to Brazil. He's related to somebody that got killed in the Brazil incident or whatever the case may be. And I'm supposed to believe that this dude is a menace. This dude has in one scene has like 2 ponytails. He's wearing all pink and has pink ribbons in his hair. I can't take this shit serious, dude. Like Jason Momoa is not a good actor. He's definitely not a good villain. I am so glad that he's not Eric Draven. And this is the man that you really expected to carry this movie for the next 2 films. Trash, homie. I just these movies are so fucking unbelievable and stupid. I can't help myself but like to get so frustrated every time a new one comes out. I'm glad that the next one is supposedly the last one, but I don't believe it because all these motherfuckers is money hungry. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just mad that they stepped away from the cars. Like you had Tez, who was a car racer, right? Who got in an accident and got scared to race cars. Where the fuck did this whole tech wizard shit come from? They just had to make some shit up. Like, where did that even come from? Dude, all of a sudden has the ability to hack government facilities. Ludicrous? That's ludicrous, right? Double entendre. Anyway, I digress. Fast X, terribly written movie. Although the action sequences were dope. I like some of the action sequences. I'm not gonna lie to you. But they just become stupid, stupid, stupid. You even have an Indiana Jones moment in the movie. Look, man, I can't trash this movie enough. Fast X was one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. It's stupid. And a lot of these movies are suffering from the same thing. They don't know when to call it quits. Scream didn't know when to call it quits. DC didn't know when to call it quits. Fast and the Furious don't know when to call it quits. I'm telling you now, hang it up, homie, because it ain't gonna get prettier from here. Look, man, that's my top 5 worst movies of 2023. Let me know your list of the worst movies that came out this year. I mean, there's are some movies that I have not seen yet, but at the same time, I can't think of anything else more deserving of this shit pile than freaking Scream 6, The Flash, You People, uh, Barbie, and Fast X. I can't think of any other movies that deserve this sort of shellacking. Anyway, that's all I got. Let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. Drop it in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys have a magnificent day. And adios, homies.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.